I watched her eyes turn cold that night when I spilled water near Julian's shoes. My girlfriend of 15 years humiliated me in front of everyone just to impress him. So I vanished from her life without a word. Now Olivia is back, desperate, for a second chance, watching me thrive with Maya. She's about to learn that betrayal comes with a price, and I'm the one who will collect. I watched her eyes turn cold that night when I spilled water near Julian's shoes. My girlfriend of 15 years humiliated me in front of everyone just to impress him. So I vanished from her life without a word. Now Olivia is back, desperate, for a second chance, watching me thrive with Maya. She's about to learn that betrayal comes with a price, and I'm the one who will collect. The glass slipped from my hand in slow motion. I lunged to catch it, but too late. Water splashed near, Julian's Italian leather shoes barely grazing them, not on them, near them. "I'm sorry," I said, already reaching for napkins. "God, Ethan, can you be any more careless? Are you seriously that clumsy?" Olivia's voice cut through the party noise like a knife. I froze. This wasn't my Olivia. This harsh, contemptuous tone belonged to a stranger. "I'm so sorry about him," she continued, turning to Julian with a completely transformed voice, soft and concerned. "Are you okay?" The room fell silent, 20 pairs of eyes averted, finding sudden interest in their drinks or the floor. Anywhere but on me. I felt it then. Something vital breaking inside my chest. 15 years of friendship, of growing up, together, of being the town's golden couple. All shattered over spilled water. I straightened up, nodded once, said nothing. Just walked out. She didn't follow me. Looking back, I should have seen the warning signs. The way her eyes followed. Julian since he transferred to our college 3 months ago. The canceled dates. The texts that went unanswered for hours. The subtle touches when she thought I wasn't watching. I drove home in silence, my mind suddenly clear. The pain was there, but something else too. Clarity. Decision. My bedroom walls were covered with our photos. Childhood images of gap-toothed, grins, awkward middle school dances, prom night, camping trips with our families, a whole future mapped out on a corkboard. Same college, same city after graduation, marriage at 25, first house by 27. I sat on my bed and stared at this museum of us, this shrine to something that never actually existed. "Plans change," I whispered. "People change." I took down every picture, methodical, one by one, sorted them into piles. Photos with just Olivia went into the trash. Photos with family members went into a box to keep. I worked for hours, erasing her from my walls, my room, my future. I never knew until that moment how quickly love could turn cold, how relief could feel like the other side of heartbreak. The college acceptance letters sat on my desk, State University, where Olivia and I planned to go together, and 3 others I'd applied to as backups, including Westlake, 3 states away. By morning, my decision was made. I emailed Westlake to accept their offer, called State to decline, scheduled a meeting with my counselor to complete the transfer paperwork. For the next 2 weeks, I became a ghost, responding to Olivia's texts with minimal words, avoiding our usual spots, making excuses to skip group gatherings. "Are you okay?" she texted on day 3. "You're acting weird." "Just busy," I replied. I think she assumed I was jealous, that I'd get over it, that I'd always be there no matter how she treated me. The day before my departure, I finally told her. We met at the park bench where we'd had our first kiss at 14. Her face when I told her I was leaving. I'll never forget it. "What do you mean you're going to Westlake?" But we had plans. I thought we were going to stay together. I had rehearsed this moment, planned to be cold, detached. But seeing her confused face, I felt a moment of weakness, a whisper of our history. I crushed it instantly. "Plans change," I said, echoing my words from that night. "People change." "Is this because of Julian? Are you seriously this jealous?" "It was just water, Ethan. You're overreacting." I wanted to laugh. Just water. As if the water mattered. It wasn't about the water, I said quietly. It was about how easily you discarded 15 years to impress someone you barely know. That's not fair. Do you know what I realized that night? I interrupted. I realized I don't recognize you anymore, and I don't particularly like the person you've become. I thought she might cry, fight for me, beg for another chance. She didn't. So that's it? You're throwing everything away over one stupid mistake? I stood up. No, I'm choosing myself for once. Goodbye, Olivia. I walked to my car without looking back, though I heard her calling my name. The old Ethan would have turned around, forgiven. Her stayed. But that Ethan died the moment she chose Julian's approval over our bond. As I drove away, I saw her in my rearview mirror, standing in the middle of the street. For a second, I almost stopped. Then I remembered her voice. Her eyes. How quickly 15 years became nothing. I kept driving. I never suspected that this wouldn't be our final goodbye. That 18 months later, she would reappear in my life, desperate to reclaim what she'd thrown away, or that by then I'd be a different man entirely. A man who understood that some things once broken should stay that way. The meeting with my college counselor felt like a funeral and a birth at once. Ms. Rivera seemed surprised by my sudden change of plans. Westlake is an excellent school, Ethan, but this is very last minute. Are you sure? I was never more certain of anything in my life. I need a fresh start, I said. She studied my face. This doesn't have anything to do with Olivia, does it? Everyone in town knew us as a package deal. Ethan and Olivia. Always together since kindergarten. No, I lied. I just think Westlake's literature program suits me better. She didn't believe me, but she helped with the paperwork. By the end of the day, my future had been rewritten. I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. For the first time in years, I was making a decision solely for myself. The next week passed in a blur of preparation, packing my life into boxes, selling what I didn't need. I found gifts I'd bought for Olivia's upcoming birthday. A vintage copy of her favorite book. Silver bracelet with our initials. I returned them all. Used the money to buy new clothes. Clothes Ethan and Olivia would never have worn. Darker colors, sharper lines. I hardly recognized the person in the mirror. Good. I didn't want to. Looking back, I realized that week was the first step in my transformation. Every returned gift, every discarded plan was another brick in the wall between my past and future. My phone buzzed constantly with messages from Olivia. You can't be serious about leaving. Let's talk about this. Are you really going to throw everything away? I answered only once. I'm not throwing anything away, I'm just finally seeing things clearly. Then I muted her. My parents were confused but supportive. They'd always liked Olivia but respected my decision. Sometimes people grow apart, my dad said, helping me load boxes into my car. Maybe this distance will be good for both of you. If only he knew. The night before I left, I drove through our town one last time. Past our elementary school. The movie theater where we had our first official date. The ice cream shop where we'd meet every Friday. Each place held memories of us. Each one now felt hollow. I didn't know it then, but I was saying goodbye not just to Olivia, but to the version of myself that existed for her. The Ethan who bent over backward to keep her happy. Who built his entire future around her wants. That Ethan was dead. Good riddance. The drive to Westlake took 8 hours. With each mile, I felt lighter. By the time I reached campus, Olivia's last text came through. I hope you know what you're throwing away. Julian and I are going to state together. Maybe this is for the best. I laughed out loud. Of course, she'd already moved on. Probably had before I even left. I deleted the message. Deleted her number. Dropped my phone in my pocket and looked up at my new home. Time to start over. My dorm room was small, but clean. My roommate, Derek, was a music major with blue hair and an easy laugh. Bad breakup? He asked, watching me unpack. How'd you know? The look on your face. Like you're both sad and relieved at the same time. He shrugged. Been there. I think I needed someone who could see through me. Someone who didn't know Ethan and Olivia. Just Ethan. Those first few weeks were hard. I kept reaching for my phone to text Olivia about small moments. A funny professor. A good book. A sunset that reminded me of her eyes. Each time, I stopped. Myself. Reminded myself of her voice that night. Her coldness. How easily she'd discarded me. I filled my schedule with classes. Joined the campus newspaper. Found a job at the library. Anything to keep my mind occupied. Derek became an unexpected ally. He never pushed for details but listened when I needed to talk. Introduced me to his friends. Dragged me to parties when I would have stayed in. You can't hide forever, he said one night, tossing a clean shirt at me. Come out. Live a little. You're free now. Free. Such a strange concept after 15 years of being half of a whole. I didn't tell anyone at Westlake about Olivia. Not fully. When asked, I simply said, my ex and I grew apart. It was easier than explaining how someone you'd loved since childhood could become a stranger in one moment. How a glass of water could shatter a lifetime. I threw myself into my studies. Found I actually enjoyed literature when I wasn't choosing classes to match Olivia's schedule. Discovered talents I never knew I had. Writing, analysis, critical thinking. I could feel myself changing, growing, becoming someone new. Sometimes I'd see updates from home, glimpses of Olivia and Julian on social media, their smiling faces at parties, at football games, looking every bit the perfect couple. Each photo stung less than the last, until finally they didn't sting at all. 3 months into my new life, I met Maya. She was arguing with our American literature professor about Fitzgerald's portrayal of women. Fearless, brilliant, nothing like Olivia. We were paired for a project, spent hours in the library discussing books, films, ideas. She never tried to impress me, never changed her opinions to match mine, just existed, confidently, as herself. You're different from most guys, she said one night as we walked back to the dorms. You actually listen. I wondered what she'd think if she knew the truth. That I'd spent 15 years being exactly like most guys. Building my life around a girl who'd discard me without a thought. That night, I deleted the last notification about Olivia from my phone. A birthday reminder. The final ghost of our relationship. I never expected to see her again. Never imagined she'd reappear in my life just as I was finally truly moving on. But life has a way of bringing back the lessons you haven't fully learned, and I still had one final lesson to teach Olivia about consequences. Those first weeks at Westlake were like learning to breathe again. Each day brought small victories. Getting through classes without thinking of her, laughing genuinely at Derek's jokes, finding my voice in writing workshops. Before I knew it, a month had passed. Then 2. Then 6. My roommate became my first real friend, one I'd chosen rather than inherited through proximity or history. Derek didn't know Ethan and Olivia. He only knew Ethan. Just Ethan. You should get a haircut, he suggested one Saturday morning. Something completely different. I'd always worn my hair the way Olivia liked it. Longer on top, shorter on the sides. Safe, familiar. Why not? I replied. The barber took off more than expected. I barely recognized myself in the mirror afterward. Sharper, more defined. My mother wouldn't approve. Olivia would hate it. Good. I remember thinking how strange it was. This freedom to reinvent yourself when no one has expectations of who you should be. Looking back, I realized that haircut was symbolic. I was shedding my old self, piece by piece. My grades improved without the distraction of constantly accommodating someone else's schedule. Professors noticed my work. One suggested I submit an essay to a writing competition. I won second place. My picture appeared in the campus newspaper. Derek tacked the article to our dorm wall. See that? That's you becoming you. I didn't tell him I'd checked Olivia's social media that night, that I'd searched for any sign she'd seen my small success. that I'd felt both relieved and disappointed to find nothing. That was the last time I looked. I deleted all social media, apps from my phone that night, decided to stop living in two worlds. I never expected Maya to become important. She was just my American literature project partner. Brilliant, forthright, argumentative in the best ways. Fitzgerald is overrated, she declared during our first meeting. And if you quote The Great Gatsby at me, I'm walking out. I liked that she had opinions, strong ones, that she didn't soften her edges to make me comfortable. Our project meetings extended beyond assignment requirements. Coffee after class became dinner. Dinner became walks around campus discussing books, films, philosophy. Always at arm's length, always just friends. I was careful, guarded. Maya noticed. "You've been hurt badly," she said one evening. Statement, not question. We were sitting on the library steps watching sunset paint the sky orange. I considered denying it. "Yes," I admitted instead. "Want to talk about it?" "No." She nodded, didn't push, just sat there, letting silence stretch between us without trying to fill it. That was the moment, I think. The moment I began to trust her. The spring semester brought new classes, new challenges. Maya and I found ourselves in the same creative writing workshop. Our professor paired us again. "You two have complementary styles," she explained. "Ethan's precision balances Maya's passion." I didn't know how to feel about being described as precise, clinical, controlled. Was that who I'd become? But Maya understood. "You choose your words carefully," she said after class. "Like each one costs something." "Maybe they do." Her smile was soft. "What happened to make words so expensive for you?" I told her then. Not everything, just pieces. Childhood friends, long relationship, betrayal, leaving everything behind. "She humiliated me in front of everyone," I said, surprising myself with the still-present sting. For someone she barely knew. Maya didn't offer platitudes, didn't say Olivia didn't deserve me or that I was better off. She just listened. "Thank you for telling me," she said when I finished. "That couldn't have been easy." It wasn't, but afterward I felt lighter, like I'd put down something heavy I'd been carrying. I never expected to kiss her that night, never planned it. But walking her back to her dorm, something shifted between us. "Can I try something?" she asked, stopping, under a streetlight. Before I could answer, she leaned forward. Her lips met mine briefly, questioning. I felt nothing like what I'd felt with Olivia. No familiar patterns. No shared history. Something entirely new. When she pulled back, uncertainty in her eyes, I surprised myself again. "Can I try something too?" I asked and kissed her back. That spring became a revelation. I discovered what it meant to be with someone who wanted the real me. Not the version of me that fit into their plans, not someone they could show off or mold, just me. Maya never asked me to change, never made me feel like I needed to be more, or less. She argued fiercely when she disagreed with me and conceded gracefully when I made a good point. "I like who you are with her," Derek commented after meeting her. "You seem more alive." I was. Parts of me that had gone dormant under Olivia's indifference were waking up. By summer, Maya and I were officially together. We both stayed on campus for different reasons. She for a research position, me because I couldn't face going home, seeing old friends, potentially running into Olivia. "You'll have to go back sometime," Maya said gently. "You can't avoid your hometown forever." "Watch me," I replied, only half joking. The summer passed in a blur of work, study, and discovering each other. We fought sometimes, real arguments, about real things. Not the carefully choreographed disagreements I'd had with Olivia, where I'd always eventually concede to keep the peace. With Maya, disagreeing didn't mean discord. It meant growth. I remember thinking how different love could be when it wasn't entangled with childhood memories and small-town expectations. How much cleaner, how much more honest. I didn't know then that the past is never truly left behind. that it waits patiently for the moment you think you're free. The email arrived on a Tuesday in October. A simple notification from the university system. Transfer student orientation. Welcome to Westlake University. Just another mass email. I nearly deleted it. Then I saw the list of new transfer students. Olivia Barrett. My world tilted. 1 year and 4 months of careful reconstruction threatened by a single name. "What's wrong?" Maya asked, noticing my expression. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "I think I have," I replied, showing her the screen. She read the name, connected it immediately to my past. Her face showed concern, not jealousy. "What are you going to do?" That was the moment I realized how far I'd come. The old Ethan would have panicked, would have transferred again, run away, avoided conflict. Instead, I felt something unexpected, a cold, clear certainty. "Nothing," I said. "I'm going to do absolutely nothing." Maya raised an eyebrow. "Nothing?" I nodded, a plan already forming. "She came here for a reason. Let's see what it is before I decide how to respond." I didn't know it then, but my response would become the perfect lesson in consequences. In reciprocity. The thing about karma is that sometimes it needs a little help. The first text came 3 days later. I was studying with Maya when my phone lit up with an unknown number. "Hey, it's me. Heard you go to Westlake now. What a coincidence. Can we talk?" I showed Maya the message. Her eyes narrowed slightly. "Coincidence, right." I typed out a response, deleted it, tried again, finally settled on simplicity. "Who is this?" Playing dumb was petty. I didn't care. The response came immediately. "It's Olivia. Don't tell me you deleted my number." I had. Deliberately, ceremonially. "Oh, hi, Olivia. Yes, I'm at Westlake, been here a while now." Maya watched me type, her hand resting lightly on my arm, not controlling, supportive. Olivia's next message appeared. "I just transferred here. Program at State wasn't right for me. Would love to catch up sometime. Coffee?" I looked at Maya. "What do you think?" "I think," she said carefully, "that you should do whatever gives you closure." I considered this. Closure wasn't what I wanted. I'd had closure when I drove away from my hometown, when I deleted her number, when I stopped checking her social media. "I don't need closure," I said finally. "But I am curious why she's really here." I kept my response deliberately neutral. "Maybe. Pretty busy with classes and work. How's Julian?" 20 minutes passed before she replied. I knew why. She was crafting the perfect response. "We broke up. He wasn't who I thought he was." Of course, the real reason emerges. I didn't respond that night, or the next day. Let her sit with my silence. Wonder if I'd reply at all. I showed Derek her messages that evening. He whistled low. "She transferred schools to follow you? That's either romantic or stalker behavior, depending on your perspective." "It's neither," I said. "It's desperation." That night I told Maya everything, the full story of Olivia and me. Not just the water spill incident, but the years before. How I'd always been the one to compromise. How I'd built my life around her preferences, her goals, her plans. "You never seemed to need me like I needed you," I recalled saying to Olivia once, years ago. "That's because I'm more independent," she'd replied. I'd accepted that explanation at the time. Looking back, I should have recognized the uneven power dynamic. I'd given Olivia control over my happiness. She'd merely let me orbit her. Never again. Maya listened without interrupting. When I finished, she asked the question I'd been avoiding. "Do you still have feelings for her?" I considered lying, saying no, absolutely not. But Maya deserved honesty. "Not romantic ones," I said carefully, "but 15 years leaves a mark. I'm angry still, hurt still, but I'm not in love with her anymore." Maya nodded. "So what will you do now that she's here?" I didn't know yet, but I was beginning to form a plan. 2 days later, I replied to Olivia. "Coffee works, Thursday 3 p.m., Campus Center." Her response, was immediate, eager. Perfect, can't wait to see you. I didn't share the sentiment. Thursday arrived cold and clear. Maya kissed me before I left our study session. Remember who you are now, she said, not who you were with her. I arrived 10 minutes late deliberately. Found Olivia already waiting, nervously checking her phone. She looked different somehow. Smaller, less assured. She'd cut her hair short, dyed it darker, wearing clothes that reminded me of Maya's style. I almost turned around. Instead, I approached. Watched her face light up when she spotted me. Ethan, you look so different. No hug, no touch. I kept the table between us as I sat down. Been a while, I said neutrally. She launched into conversation, immediately. How state wasn't what she expected. How her program wasn't challenging enough. How she'd heard such great things about Westlake's literature department. Not a word about Julian. I let her talk. Watched her hands move nervously. Noted how often she touched her hair, her necklace. Classic Olivia tells when she was lying. I'd forgotten how well I knew her. Finally, she ran out of academic excuses. So, she said, leaning forward slightly. How have you been? Really been? Good, I replied. Really good, actually. Her smile faltered slightly. I'm so glad. I worried, you know. After you left so suddenly. I raised an eyebrow. Did you? Of course. We were always supposed to be together, Ethan. Best friends since forever. There it was, the first attempt at rewriting history. Until Julian, I said simply. She flinched slightly. That was a mistake. I see that now. He wasn't who I thought he was. What happened? I asked, not because I cared, but because I wanted her to say it. She looked down at her coffee. He cheated with this freshman in his economics class. I found out after 6 months together. Karma had gotten to Julian before I could. Good. I'm sorry that happened to you, I said, and I meant it. No one deserves betrayal. It made me realize what really matters, she continued, reaching across the table toward my hand. I moved it before she could touch me. Her eyes registered the rejection. She recovered quickly. I've missed you, Ethan. Our friendship. Our connection. I studied her face, searching for the girl I'd loved for 15 years, the one I'd planned a future with. She wasn't there anymore. Maybe she never had been. I'm seeing someone, I said abruptly. Her face fell momentarily before she composed it. Oh, that's great. Anyone I would know? No, her name is Maya. We met in literature class. Sounds nice, she said, her voice tight. Is it serious? I thought about Maya, her brilliance, her honesty, her unwavering support. Yes, I replied. Very. The rest of the coffee meeting passed in superficial conversation. Hometown updates, mutual acquaintances, safe topics. As we prepared to leave, she made her move. It's been so good seeing you, Ethan. I hope we can do this again. Maybe with your girlfriend sometime. I'd love to meet her. I knew what she was doing, inserting herself into my life, getting close to Maya to get to me. Maybe, I said noncommittally. I should get going, I have class. Of course, she said, standing. It really is good to see you, Ethan. I really have missed you. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Then I remembered her voice that night, her coldness, her casual cruelty. Take care, Olivia, I said, and walked away. I felt her watching me leave, felt a savage satisfaction in being the one to walk away this time. That night I told Maya everything. Her assessment was immediate and accurate. She wants you back. Yes. What are you going to do? I considered the question carefully. The old Ethan would have avoided Olivia entirely, run from conflict, but I wasn't that person anymore. I think, I said slowly, she needs to understand exactly what she threw away. Maya's eyes widened slightly. "Ethan, what are you planning?" "Nothing cruel," I assured her. "Just a lesson in consequences. In reciprocity." I didn't know then that Olivia would make it so easy, that her desperation would play right into my hands. But some lessons are best taught by example. The texts began the next day. Casual at first. Questions about professors, building locations, campus resources. I responded politely but minimally, 1 or 2 words when possible, never initiating conversation. "Is the library open late on weekends?" she'd ask. "Until midnight," I'd reply. My responses grew slower. Hours between her messages and mine, sometimes a full day. Maya watched this dance with curious detachment. She's persistent. She was. Each message carefully crafted to seem innocent while creating threads of connection. Rebuilding bridges I'd burned deliberately. I didn't reject the messages outright. That would be too obvious. Instead, I maintained a cool distance. Polite indifference. My plan was taking shape. Not revenge exactly. Something more elegant. More fitting. Looking back, I realize I was instinctively setting a stage, creating the perfect conditions for Olivia to experience exactly what I had felt that night at the party. The betrayal had to come from her own actions, her own choices, just as mine had. A week after our coffee meeting, she escalated. "Found this old photo of us at Silver Lake, remember that summer?" Attached was a picture of 16-year-old us, arms around each other, sunburned and smiling. I studied it dispassionately, trying to recognize myself in that young, open face. I couldn't. "Nice memory," I replied 6 hours later. "Hope you're settling in well at campus." Her response came immediately. "Would be easier with a familiar face around. Lunch tomorrow?" I agreed. Set conditions subtly. Sure, the dining hall at 1. Maya might join if her lab ends early. She didn't cancel, despite the Maya mention. Progress. Lunch was a strategic choice. Public. Time limited. Multiple exits. I arrived with Maya deliberately, watched Olivia's face fall slightly before recovering. "You must be Maya," she said, extending her hand. "I've heard so much about you." Maya smiled pleasantly. "Funny, I haven't heard much about you." The first barb, elegantly delivered. I suppressed a smile. Olivia recovered quickly. "Ethan always was the private type." "Not with me," Maya replied, taking my hand openly. I watched Olivia register this, the intimacy between us, the ease. Her eyes lingered on our intertwined fingers. The conversation flowed superficially. Campus topics, classes, books. Maya mentioned our shared writing projects, our published pieces in the literary magazine. "You write now?" Olivia asked, surprise evident. "You never mentioned being interested in writing before." "People change," I said, echoing my words from our last day. In our hometown. The lunch ended when Maya checked her watch. "I need to get to class. It was interesting meeting you, Olivia." "Not nice. Not a pleasure. Interesting. Perfect word choice." "I'll walk you," I said immediately, standing. Olivia's face showed momentary panic. "Oh, I thought maybe we could catch up a bit more, Ethan." "Another time," I replied. "I have a study group after Maya's class." Another lie. Another deliberate distance. I left her sitting alone at the table, watching us walk away hand in hand. That night, another text. "It was great seeing you today. Maya seems nice." I showed Maya the message. She laughed softly. "She hates me." "Completely," I agreed. "You know what you're doing, right?" Maya asked, suddenly serious. "This isn't just about closure." I considered her question carefully. "No, it's about justice." The invitations increased after that. Study sessions, coffee breaks, movie nights with a few friends from class. I declined most, accepted occasionally, always with conditions, always keeping Maya in the equation. When I did see Olivia, I maintained the same pleasant detachment. Never rude, never warm, just consistently, deliberately indifferent. It was driving her crazy. I could see it in her eyes, the confusion, the frustration, the growing desperation. I never expected to enjoy this cold calculation, this strategic distance. But there was satisfaction in it. Power. For the first time, I held the emotional upper hand with Olivia. She wanted something from me that I had no intention of giving. 2 weeks later, she tried a new approach. Vulnerability. "I've been thinking a lot about how things ended with us," she texted late one evening. "I handled everything so badly. The Julian thing. The way I treated you that night. I'm really sorry, Ethan." I stared at the message for a long time. The apology I'd once would have given anything to hear. "It was a long time ago," I replied eventually. "Water under the bridge." Water. Deliberately chosen word. "Could we talk about it sometime? Properly? I'd really like to explain." I showed Maya the message. She studied it thoughtfully. "She's getting desperate, what will you say?" "Nothing yet," I replied. "Let her sit with it." The next day I responded. "Not much to discuss, really. We were young. People make mistakes." Her reply came immediately. "It wasn't just a mistake. I was trying to impress Julian, trying to seem cool and detached. I never meant to hurt you." There it was, the admission, not heat of the moment, not a misunderstanding, a deliberate choice to hurt me to elevate herself with someone else. I let her confession sit unanswered for 2 full days. When I finally responded, it was brief. "Thanks for clarifying." 3 words. No forgiveness, no continuation. Our mutual literature class became her new strategy. She'd started sitting near me, echoing my points in discussions, agreeing with my interpretations of texts. Professor Harris noticed. "Ms. Barrett, do you have any original thoughts on Hemingway? Or are you just going to paraphrase Mr. Mitchell all semester?" The class laughed. Olivia flushed deep red. I kept my expression neutral while feeling a savage satisfaction. After class, she tried to catch me. That was so embarrassing. Harris has it out for me, I think. "He just expects original thought," I replied, gathering my books. "See you around." I walked away, joining Maya, who was waiting in the hallway. Made sure Olivia saw me kiss her hello. These small moments accumulated, each one a brick in the wall between Olivia and what she wanted. Each one a demonstration of my new life without her. The group study session was her next attempt. 6 people from our literature class, meeting in the library. Safety in numbers. Hard to decline without seeming petty. I agreed, but brought Derek and Maya. Created my own safety net. Olivia had clearly prepared. Hair perfect. Outfit carefully chosen. Notes meticulously organized. She positioned herself across from me. Kept finding reasons to lean forward, to ask my opinion, to create moments of eye contact. I remained engaged with the group but distant with her specifically. Answered questions directed at me briefly. Deferred to others often. Near the end, she made her move. "I'm having trouble with the symbolism in Chapter 5. Ethan, could you explain it to me? Maybe over coffee after we finish here?" The table went quiet, everyone sensing the subtext. "Actually," Maya interjected smoothly, "Ethan and I have dinner plans, but I'm sure someone else can help." Olivia's smile tightened. "Of course. No problem." As we packed up, she tried once, more. "Could we talk for a minute, Ethan? Alone?" I glanced at Maya, who nodded slightly. "I'll wait outside." Olivia waited until others had moved away. "Are you ever going to stop punishing me?" Direct, honest. The first real question she'd asked. "I'm not punishing you, Olivia. I'm living my life. You're freezing me out deliberately. I'm being polite but distant with someone I barely know anymore." Her eyes flashed. "We know each other better than anyone." "We knew each other," I corrected. Past tense. "Can we just talk? Properly? No audience? No Maya? Just us?" I studied her face. The desperation was clear now. unmasked. What is there to talk about? Us. What happened? What could still happen? And there it was. Her real agenda, laid bare. There is no us, I said quietly. There's no going back, Olivia. You don't mean that. We have 15 years of history. And one moment that erased it all. I didn't know then how perfectly I was setting up the final act. How completely her frustration would play into my hands. Sometimes the best revenge isn't what you do to someone. It's creating the conditions for them to reveal themselves completely. The graduation party wasn't my idea. Derek insisted, claiming we needed to celebrate completing our second year. Just a small gathering, he promised. Close friends. Good. Music. Nothing wild. I agreed reluctantly. Suggested we host it at our place to control the guest list. Derek raised an eyebrow. Worried about a certain someone crashing? He wasn't wrong. Olivia had grown increasingly bold in her attempts to connect with me, showing up at my usual study spots, appearing at campus events she knew I'd attend, always with a plausible excuse, always coincidentally there. I didn't want her at our celebration, but I also knew preventing her from coming would give her too much importance. Invite whoever you want, I told Derek. It doesn't matter. Maya squeezed my hand. She understood what I wasn't saying. The night of the party arrived warm and clear. Our apartment, filled quickly with friends. Music played, drinks flowed, conversation hummed pleasantly. I was genuinely enjoying myself, Maya beside me, when Derek appeared with a grimace. Heads up, she's here. I didn't need to ask who. Could feel her presence already. A familiar disruption in the atmosphere. How did she find out about the party? Maya asked quietly. Posted on the creative writing group chat, Derek explained. Sorry, man. Didn't think she'd actually come. I shrugged. It's fine. We're all adults. Olivia appeared in our living room wearing a blue dress I'd once told her was my favorite color, hair styled the way I used to prefer, a calculated appearance. She spotted me immediately, made her way over with determined steps. Great party, she said brightly. Thanks for having me. I didn't point out she hadn't been specifically invited. Glad you could make it. Drinks are in the kitchen. Maya's arm slipped around my waist. A subtle claim. Olivia noticed, her smile tightening. I'll grab something in a bit. Wanted to say hello first? The conversation remained superficial. Class projects, summer plans, campus gossip. Looking back, I should have noticed her growing agitation, the way her eyes kept tracking Maya's hand on mine, the increasing speed with which she consumed her drink when she finally got one. Derek rescued me eventually, pulling me away to meet some friends from his music program. Maya stayed behind, engaged in conversation with classmates. I lost track of Olivia for a while, assumed she'd left after failing to monopolize my attention. I was wrong. The crash of breaking glass cut through the music. Conversation halted abruptly. All eyes turned toward the source. Olivia stood near our drinks table, a shattered wine glass at her feet. Red liquid splashed across the floor, across Julian's expensive shoes. No, not Julian. My mind had superimposed the past over the present. It was our friend Alex who stood there looking down in surprise at his wet shoes. I'm so sorry, Olivia gasped, grabbing napkins frantically. Her movements too rushed, too panicked for such a minor accident. Everyone was watching now. The parallel to that night 18 months ago struck me with physical force. I moved without thinking, stepped forward, saw Maya's eyes widen in recognition of what was happening. Oh, Olivia, I said, my voice carrying just enough to be heard by our circle. Don't be so dramatic, it's just a little wine. You'll get over it. No need to make a scene. Time seemed to stop. Olivia froze, napkins clutched in her hand. Her head snapped up, eyes meeting mine in shocked recognition. She heard it. The perfect echo of her own words from that night. The same dismissive tone. The same public humiliation. Color drained from her face. Understanding flooded her eyes. Maya stepped forward, breaking the frozen moment. "Here, let me help," she said kindly, handing Olivia more napkins. The contrast was perfect. Maya's genuine kindness against the memory of Olivia's cruelty. Conversation slowly resumed. Music reclaimed the space. The moment passed for everyone except Olivia and me. She disappeared shortly after. I found her on our small balcony, staring out at the campus lights. "That was cruel, Ethan," she said, without turning. "I know what you did there." "Was it cruel?" I asked calmly. "Or was it reciprocity?" She turned then, tears in her eyes. "I made one mistake. One stupid mistake because I was trying to impress someone. Are you really going to throw away everything we had over that?" I studied her face in the dim light. Searched for remorse rather than regret. For understanding rather than self-pity. "I didn't throw anything away, Olivia. You did. It was spilled water, Ethan, not a betrayal." "It was never about the water," I said, my voice steady. "That night wasn't about spilled water. It was about you showing me exactly where I ranked in your priorities. I simply believed you." "So this is all just revenge?" she asked bitterly. "Making me feel small, making me watch you with her, making me transfer schools for nothing?" I felt a cold satisfaction settle in my chest. "You transferred schools for me? After 18 months? After dating Julian? That wasn't a coincidence at all, was it?" She looked away. I realized what I'd lost. "No. You realized Julian wasn't the prize you thought. You wanted your backup plan. That's not fair." "It's exactly fair and completely accurate." She stepped closer, desperation clear in her eyes. "We have history, Ethan. 15 years. That means something." "It did," I agreed, "until you decided it didn't. People make mistakes." "Yes, and then they live with the consequences." She reached for my hand. I let her take it, felt nothing at the contact. "I still love you," she whispered. "I never stopped. Even with Julian, I compared him to you constantly. He hated it." I withdrew my hand gently. "But I stopped loving you, Olivia. The moment you chose someone else's opinion over 15 years of us. We could start over," she pleaded. "Give it another chance. I know I can make you happy again." I thought about Maya, her brilliance, her honesty, the way she challenged and supported me in equal measure. "I am happy," I said simply. "Genuinely happy with someone who would never humiliate me to elevate herself. Someone who understands that loyalty isn't conditional. So this is it?" Tears streaked her face now. "This is your revenge? Making me understand what I lost?" "No," I said, finishing my drink. "This isn't revenge, Olivia. This is just me living my life. The fact that it hurts you is simply reciprocity." I left her on the balcony, returned to Maya, who was watching for me, concern in her eyes. "Everything okay?" she asked as I slipped my arm around her waist. "Perfect," I replied honestly. "Actually perfect." We left the party early, let Derek manage the remaining guests. I didn't look back to see if Olivia was watching. Didn't need to. 3 weeks later, Maya and I were having dinner when my phone buzzed with a notification. Olivia had withdrawn from Westlake, returning to state for the fall semester. Maya read the message over my shoulder. "Closure?" I considered the question carefully. "Justice," I decided. Perfectly balanced. 6 months later, I proposed to Maya on a spring evening under campus lights. She said yes immediately, her smile brighter than any star. At our engagement party, I caught a glimpse of someone watching from across the street, a familiar silhouette in the shadows. I raised my glass slightly in her direction. Not in malice, in acknowledgement. She turned and walked away, disappearing into the night. The greatest revenge isn't making someone suffer. It's letting them watch you thrive without them. And sometimes, the most perfect justice is allowing someone to feel exactly what they once inflicted so carelessly on another.